Today we're looking at 5 models of Taishokoto from the company Comnics. I felt these were either the most common to find on the market, explain some confusion you might see in how people have labeled them for sale, or show the breadth of what you can find from the company. First up we have the CS50 soundo. I couldn't find the listing for this one, but based on what I've seen, they were popular back in the day since you'll see a couple floating around. This one correlates to the soundo series synthesizers I've looked at before, such as the TK100M. In such, this likely came out in the late 80s or sometime in the 90s. It's interesting that the box it comes in says Xenon Soundo, which would make you think it was from the Xenon company. I believe early on they were partnered in contracting the actual builds out to Xenon. Also of note, there is a pickup in this. It's on the back of the bridge that you have a 2.5mm jack. This is nicely hidden, it looks good, however the 2.5mm jack is pretty non-standard and a little annoying. Next up we have the suisen CK10. Their listing shows that with the electric pickup it's actually called the CK60, but it's the same otherwise. Yet again, we have the 2.5mm jack in the back of the bridge, and the wood used on this one is a Shina veneer. Then we have the mokusei CK20. Again, when the electric pickup is added, it has a name change. This is then technically a CK70, but otherwise it's still the same. This one also has a 2.5mm jack in the back of the bridge for the pickup. The CK20 also has a very unique cork veneer, which you don't often see. Then we have the kinmokusei CK30. As expected with the pickup, it changes model number again to CK80, and it has a 2.5mm jack in the back of the bridge. This one does change up the wood type. It's a spruce veneer. Also of note for this video, I am in fact using the CK80. Comnics has a listing for CK85E, which is also called kinmokusei. The CK85E, however, has a special updated magnetic pickup. You can tell them apart because on the CK85E there's an extra hole in the front right for the pickup output. The last one today is the shonichi. This is the model name on the bottom, but on the top it actually shows Oto Yume no Kai or Ne Yume no Kai. Not sure which they chose as the pronunciation since I don't have the Comnics listing for it. I believe this is just the series name, which they often display on the top. I'm certain the name on the bottom is the model. Since we don't have the listing, we can kind of look at the other models. The CK90 was last offered in 2005, which was kind of the equivalent in the Taishokoto section of their website. It's worth it to point out, and I'll show a little picture, there is a Taishokoto and an ensemble portion of their website. The ensemble portion is ensemble-specific Taishokotos. They're just a little different in their categorization. Now, the CK90 did not have a pickup and was a Shina veneer, so the shonichi is also likely a Shina veneer. They also still offer the CK120, which is a modern version of the classy model. That one's a spruce veneer, but it's a bit more expensive and has a pickup as well, so we can assume it's a bit different. For comparison, if you were interested in something like the CK120, you can assume that the sound is somewhere in between the CK30, which has the spruce veneer, and the shonichi, which it shares a body structure with. And again, don't get these confused with the ensemble versions. You'll see the SK08 ensemble soprano, which looks very similar. The ensemble ones don't generally have specific names like the CK series, aka suisen, mokusei, etc. The SK08 is a nice spruce and I'm sure sounds great, just nice to know what you're getting. With all that said, it's time for some demos. I put in the acoustic recording directly followed by the electric pickup recording. They were the same take, but one was recorded through the pickup and the other mic, hence the video is the same. The only model which was acoustic only due to lack of a pickup was the shonichi. So for some personal notes, the CS50 sounds a little harsh acoustically. There's a heavy staccato at the lower end, which might not come through in the recording. That's also what makes it sound so good through the pickup though, so this one's a bit unique. The kinmokusei sounds really powerful without causing any crazy resonance in the wood, which is something I often encounter. I also really like the propensity towards the higher end, which I'm sure is why it doesn't resonate out of control. That normally comes with more low end, and if I'm going for low end, I'll go with an alto or another instrument. I don't necessarily want that in a soprano. Add to this a really nice pickup that carries the high end well, and this is an awesome design personally. The rest I think were appropriately displayed through a recording, but I should note playability. These all play very well and feel good. It's rather easy to get the right pitch and pressure on the keys with all the devices. This is especially true with the shonichi. The keys have very low resistance and it feels extremely easy to get the right notes. All in all, Comnics really tries to break molds and kind of has a style all to their own. Don't let me sway you too much as I'm biased, but they make some of my favorite stuff by far. If you're exploring Taishokotos in general, I think that trying at least one of these is worth a shot. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments on what your favorites were and why.